Hi guys, welcome to the Darkness channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. The girls ever so slowly made their way to the edge of the cliff, sprawled out on the now body rocks. Below was Shizako's lifeless body. Shizako! Screamed Sayori, unable to stomach such a sight. Nami ran off, but she was forced to bring her retreat to an abrupt halt when she began vomiting violently. Hana also ran from the edge, but she had only run off to collect Shizako's book bag. When she returned, Hana attempted to throw it off the cliff, but Sayori snatched the bag away from her before she could. "What the hell are you doing?" asked Hana. "We have to throw it over so it looks like an accident. If she doesn't have her bag, the police will get suspicious." "No, I won't let you," exclaimed Sayori, holding the bag close to her chest as if it was her most cherished possession. "We need to get out of here," said Aika, who was tending to Nami. "If somebody sees us, they'll know we had something to do with this." Hana stood chest to chest with Sayori. "If anybody finds out about you having that bag, we are all going to be executed," she said. "Do you understand? I'm not going to die because of someone like her." Hoping to establish an alibi, the girls hurried back to town and stopped in a nearest restaurant. Hana insisted the girls eat despite their unsettled stomachs and act as if nothing out of the ordinary had taken place. As far as the other customers and staff were concerned, the four were just regular teenage girls spending a night out. "I don't want Dunbury," said Nami, who was fighting a losing battle to keep her tears at bay. "I just want to go home." "Shut your mouth already," said Hana. "You haven't stopped winning since we got here. Do you want everyone to see you crying? If they see you, they'll know something's wrong. So shut up and eat. You're the one that wanted Dunbury. Remember? You're always complaining that we never do what you want. Well, now we are doing something that you want. So why the hell are you complaining, huh?" Hana had scolded Nami so loudly that some of the other customers couldn't help but look in their direction. "Sorry," said Hana, a polite smile on her face. "Or maybe we can go back and I'll make you eat all that stuff you throw up," said Hana, this time much quieter. "So help me if they pull your DNA out of it." "It's okay," said Aika. "I kicked dirt over it." An ambulance sped by the restaurant. Its lights were flashing and its siren was blaring. The girls were noticeably startled by it. Acting as if the ambulance had done nothing to bother her, Hana began eating, though she was ruthless. Her hands were shaking visibly as she did so, as she had been doing since the group arrived at the restaurant. Sayori kept her gaze on the floor. This prompted Hana to cast a most unpleasant glare at her. After their impromptu night out, the girls went their separate ways. Sayori went straight to her room after making it home. What had happened to Shizuko played itself out over and over in Sayori's head. It wasn't so much the blood on the rocks that disturbed her so, nor was it the awkward positioning of Shizuko's mangled limbs. It was her eyes. Every time that scene replayed in her mind, Sayori couldn't help but feel as if Shizuko was staring directly at her, making it seem as if the girl who had lost her life wanted to know why Sayori would play a part in such a thing. Having made sure her door was locked, Sayori opened Shizuko's bag and began looking through it. At first glance, there looked to be nothing out of the ordinary inside. There was nothing but books and other school supplies. Sticking out of a book was a piece of paper. There was nothing odd but a piece of paper placed inside a book. But something compelled Sayori to take it out. When she found what it was, a stabbing pain immediately inflicted itself upon the pit of Sayori's stomach. What she had found was a picture she had drawn years ago, when she and Shizuko were in elementary school. It was of the two of them in grassy field under a starry sky. Sayori had given it to Shizuko after telling her she hoped the two would be friends forever. Shizuko, whispered a now sobbing Sayori. It was immediately after calling her friend's name when a floorboard creaked. Sayori was hesitant to turn around, thinking her mother had entered through a door that hadn't been properly locked. If that was so, then she surely would have heard Sayori speak the name that would soon be referenced numerous times in newspaper and on news broadcast. Mustering the courage, Sayori turned around but found no one there. During a break between classes the next day, Hana took Nami and Aika to the roof of the school. It was there where the three would find Sayori, who had said some very troubling things to Nami earlier that day. "Hey!" shouted Hana. "What's this I hear about you wanting to confess?" "I think it might be the best things for us to do," replied Sayori. "If we tell the police it was an accident, they will go easy on us. The fact that we are all minors might keep us from getting too harsh a sentence." "You think if you go to the police, they'll go easy on you just because you made it easy for them to solve the case?" asked Hana. "What makes you think you're better than the rest of us? You'll get into just as much trouble as us." "Is that you want?" Sayori-chan asked Nami. "To get us in trouble?" "I don't know what makes you think you'll be in less trouble than the rest of us," said Hana. "If anything, you'll be in more trouble." "What do you mean?" asked Sayori. "Think about it. There's 3 of us and only 1 of you. All we have to do is tell the police that it was all your idea to cover things up. We wanted to confess, but you wouldn't let us. You threatened us. You told us your father had powerful connection and he would make sure the three of us kept our mouth shut. You wouldn't, said Sayari. You want to find out? Asked Hana. Look at it this way, said Aika. If one of us talks to the police, then we'll all get in trouble. But if none of us talks, then none of us will get in trouble. Think about what I said the next time you get an idea like going to police, said Hana. And with that, she, Nami and Aika took their leave. After the unfortunate meeting, Sayari went to the bathroom to splash some cold water on her face. So upset was she covered what Hana had told her that she could barely keep the water cupped in her shaking hands from spilling out. The cool water had helped calm Sayari down, but her troubles would return in abundance when she looked into the mirror and found Shizako standing behind her. Turning quickly, Seiya found there was no one in the bathroom with her. She once again looked into the mirror, but the only thing she found was her panicked reflection staring back at her. Wanting to put recent events out of mind, Hana took Nami and Aika out for some much needed amusement after school. The local karaoke box never failed to lift the girls' spirits when they were in need of cheering up. How come we didn't bring Sayari with us? Asked Aika as she browsed through the song catalog. She likes karaoke more than anyone. I already told you, replied Hana. She is not here because she is pissing me off. What more do I need to say? So, does that mean she's not our friend anymore? That's up to her, said Hana. Despite the lethargic state Nami was in, Hana tried to hand her the microphone. Hey, it's your turn, she told her. I don't feel like it, replied Nami. What's wrong with you? Still feeling bad about what we did? Nami gave no reply. Well, you'd be better stop acting like that. Because if anyone noticed anything different about any of us, then we are as good as dead. Understand? I'll go next, said Aika, taking the microphone from Hana. Don't worry about it, Nami. She's just moody. In a few days, she'll start acting like her old self. She had better, said Hana. Unable to get the image of Shizako out of her head, Sayari hurried home and talked to her computer, hoping to find some answers. Most of the sites she found had no pertinent information that could help her. But there was one website that provided something that troubled her. A spirit that is still struggling with love, hate or sorrow may be unable to pass on, read Sayari. If these emotions are strong enough, the spirit can return to the world after leaving. Spirits have known to come back to haunt their tormentors. Some have even been known to bring death to those who wronged them. Not wanting to read anymore, Sayari turned off her computer. That's just folklore, she said. Those are just stories they tell to scare little kids. In the reflection of her monitor, Sayori thought she caught a glimpse of Shizuko. When she turned to look, Sayori found no one else in her room. Hana and Aika were having boisterous fun at karaoke. They were singing as happily as two people who hadn't a care in the world. Nami, on the other hand, was unable to partake in the festivals. Her mood was one that had remained unchanged since the death she and the others had caused. "What songs should we sing next?" asked Aika. "Pick something slow," said Hana. "I want to feel like I'm in love." A horrible scratching sound began blaring from the speakers. "What's happening?" asked Hana. "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything," replied Aika, who frantically began pushing buttons in hopes of making the horrible noise go away. The one thing she did accomplish, however, was making the main light go out and replacing it with flashing ones. "How does that help us?" barked Anna. Nami's eyes nearly doubled in size when she found Shizuko standing behind her friends. The recently departed girl looked no worse for wear after having fallen off a cliff. Nami screamed a bone-chilling scream. It was immediately after that when the horrible sound came to an end and the lights returned to normal. "What's going on?" asked Hana. "Why do you scream?" Shizuko was no longer in the room, but that wasn't enough to calm Nami, who ran from the room without explaining herself, without having anyone push any buttons. Another song began playing. It was a cheery number that took an eerie feeling with what had just happened. "I told you to pick something slow," said Hana. There was a buzz at the school the next day. Everyone was talking about recent stories in local newspapers and on morning news shows about the discovery of Shizuko's body. Police had given very little information, so students were curious to know if the death was a suicide, an accident, or possibly murder. Not more than an hour into instruction, Sayori, Hana, and Nami and Aika were pulled from their classes. A pair of detectives had come to their school, and they were looking for answers that would lead them to who was responsible for Shizuko's death. Hana was first to be questioned. "How close were you to this Shizuko girl?" asked Detective Yamamoto. "I wasn't close to her at all," replied a defiant Hana. "I didn't even know her. I have enough friends. I don't need any more than what I already have." "Really? Then how do you explain why the janitor told us he saw you and your friends leaving school with her?" "I don't know what you're talking about," replied Hana. "We didn't go anywhere with her. She might have been leaving school at the same time as us, but that doesn't mean we were hanging out with her. Besides, what does the janitor know? He's so old he can barely see, but he can see well enough to get excited whenever a pretty girl walks by him. It's him you should be investigating, Not me. He did say something about not having his glasses on when he saw the girls, said Detective Tamaki. He might have been mistaken. Thanks for staying till the end. Please subscribe to more stories.